Now, in the co-main event of the evening, going to have Randy Brown taking on Jared Gooden. And right now, Brown, a solid favorite according to DraftKings at minus 225. Gooden coming in on the takeback at plus 185. He did miss weight by about 4 pounds today here in Las Vegas, but the fight will go on. Brown, of course, is a winner of 3 of his last 4 fights. It says this will not be a cakewalk against Gooden, even though Gooden is the solid underdog here and thinks they are matched up for a reason. But Brown, of course, on a hot streak of his own, had a sub of Alex Oliveira back in April as he tries to make his ascent in the 170-pound division. And I want to know about Randy Brown here because even Randy Brown, despite being a big favorite in the co-main against Jared Gooden, says he is not taking his opponent lightly in this one. You wouldn't know about that by the odds makers here when you got to lay a hefty price if you want to back Randy Brown here. What do you make of the co-main? Is that good money to lay on the heavy favorite?
Well, Dave, you know me, I don't like to play anything with a negative number. That's why I go to great extent to manage myself away from that. However, in this fight, the way I view it is you're looking at a kid in Gooden that's kind of just starting out, 3 UFC fights. Brown, this will be his 12th, and he's been in there with guys like Luque. He's beaten Barberena, Warley Alves, Nico Price. His body of work, who he's been in with, force me to regard him surely as a favorite. However, the way I look at this fight now, in lieu of Gooden missing the welterweight limit of 171 by 3 pounds today, he weighed in at 174. That's a tremendous advantage for Gooden, not only in the extra weight, but the fact he doesn't have to cut those last few percentages and deplete himself. And he is a little bit of a chinny guy to begin with. So advantage Gooden with the weight forces me to regard this fight as it's going over. The over is 1.5 minus 170, but I just got done saying I don't like those negative numbers, and I don't. So the way I'll attack that is this fight starts round 3, available at DraftKings. Fight starts around 3 plus 100. That's where I'll go with this fight. I think Gooden's extra weight's going to allow him to take this fight into the 3rd round.
Let's go to the co-main here with Randy Brown against Jared Gooden. So we know that Randy is the bigger favorite here. You got to lay over $2 here if you want to back Randy Brown here at minus 235. What are your numbers telling you about this one? Is it too big a favorite from what you've seen?
This is another one where I think the price is pretty much spot on. Randy Brown, first of all, very rangy guy. Not that Gooden is not rangy. He's just a lot shorter. So when you see them standing next to each other, it looks like there's a big frame advantage. They actually have very similar reach, at least according to the stats I have. That could be out of date. You never know. But Brown is able to be a better offensive striker. His defense, he's one of those rangy John Jones-like fighters in that he's hard to hit. His defensive strike avoidance is abnormally good. And on the flip side of the page, Gooden's is abnormally bad. So Gooden gets hit a lot. Brown is good at using his range. He's evasive and he's accurate and he likes to push a pace. So I think if this is playing out on their feet, Brown should be running away with those exchanges. He should be the guy just simply outpointing, outlanding, and not eating a lot of damage in return. So then the question is, well, will it change levels? Don't see a lot of evidence for that from Gooden. So I do like Brown here. Again, I'm basically agreeing with the price plus a little bit more. He's already pretty juiced up there, way better than a 2-to-1 average. I agree with that. I see his win probability probably like 70%.
Hey, this is very interesting talking with Reed Kuhn, of course, a pro MMA handicapper. You saw those numbers there. And Reed, obviously, if you want to play the over in this 3-round co-main event fight, it's going to cost you a little bit on the juice here, minus 155. But to go the distance is minus 200. So I wonder what the numbers are telling you there of maybe trying to find some value in one of those plays.
Yeah, that's interesting. Brown has successfully scored 3 knockdowns. He's also received 2 of his own. Jared Gooden, on the other hand, has neither scored nor received any knockdowns. So I don't think this is going to be decided by a submission. Brown at least does have some submission attempts. I just don't see either of these guys forcing that. So I do think they're going to stand and they're going to trade. They're both accurate, but not overwhelming power, at least. And welterweight is sort of that tipping point. You can find some really heavy hitters there. I don't see evidence yet if there is some knockdown power, I think it's with Randy Brown. And again, that liability of Jaron Gooden's head strike defense being so bad, he's going to get hit during this fight at some point by such an aggressive striker as Randy Brown. So now that you're telling me that that the going the distance is minus 200, I might go the under on that one. Use inside the distance, and if anything, it's a Randy Brown KO. That could be the most interesting specific prop.